She was 17 when she learned how easy it was to lie to adults. Not big lies. Just the small ones that slip through cracks. Where you're going. Who you're with. Why you're late. The kind of lies people believe because they want to believe them. Her name was Mara Collins. She sat across from me with her hands tucked under her thighs like she was afraid they might betray her. Thin wrists. School uniform skirt folded too neatly over her knees. She looked exactly like what she was supposed to be. Too young to understand how men like him work. The victim's name was Daniel Frost. 34. Married. Youth mentor at a local community center. Found dead in his apartment with blunt force trauma to the head and a kitchen knife pressed into his chest afterward, like an afterthought. That detail told me something important right away. The knife wasn't the murder weapon. It was a message. Mara said she met Daniel when she was 15. Said he noticed her because she was quiet and mature. Those words always come first. They're bait. They make girls feel chosen instead of hunted. He started with rides home. Then late-night texts about her future. Then secrets. He told her adults wouldn't understand what they had. That they would twist it. That she had to protect him. And she did. For almost 2 years. By the time the affair turned physical, Mara had already learned how to disappear in plain sight. How to delete messages without thinking. How to lie to her mother's face without her voice shaking. Daniel liked control. Not violence. Control dressed up as concern. He chose the places. The times. The rules. He reminded her constantly what she would lose if anyone found out. On the night he died, Mara said he asked her to come over after an argument with his wife. Said he needed her. Said she was the only one who understood him. She arrived at 9:42 p.m. That much we could prove. Elevator camera. Grainy, but clear enough. She was wearing a hoodie 3 sizes too. Too big and sneakers with a cracked sole. She left at 10:11. 29 minutes. Inside the apartment, we found signs of a struggle that didn't last long. A broken lamp. Blood spatter low on the wall, consistent with someone sitting or kneeling. No defensive wounds on Daniel's hands, which meant he trusted whoever was in that room. The blunt force trauma came from a marble bookend. Heavy. Decorative. Lifted and brought down once. Clean strike. No hesitation. That kind of injury doesn't come from panic. It comes from a decision. Mara said they argued. Said he told her he was done. That he couldn't risk his reputation anymore. That she was getting too old and unpredictable. That sentence mattered. Because predators don't fear youth. They fear exposure. When I asked her if he threatened her, she nodded but didn't speak. Tears finally slipped out, quiet and embarrassed. She told me he said if she ever talked, he would make sure she was the one who looked ruined. That people would see her as the liar. The girl who seduced a married man. He told her no one would believe her. That night, neighbors heard a single loud thud at 9:58 p.m. They thought it was furniture. No screams. No raised voices. Just a dull impact followed by silence. Forensics showed Daniel was alive for less than a minute after the blow. The knife wound came post-mortem. No hemorrhaging. No struggle. Someone wanted it to look emotional. Messy. Personal. The knife was wiped clean. No usable prints. But the bookend wasn't. A partial palm print sat along its base, faint but present. Juvenile-sized. Smudged, but promising. Mara said she didn't touch it. I didn't correct her. Her phone told a different story. Deleted messages recovered from cloud backups. Hundreds of them. Grooming wrapped in affection. Possession disguised as love. At 9:54 p.m., Daniel sent one last text to his wife. I'm sorry. I messed everything up. For minutes later, his skull was fractured. Mara insisted she left while he was still alive. Said she couldn't breathe in that apartment. Said she needed air. Said she loved him, but she was scared. Fear shows up in the body. So does rage. The medical examiner estimated time of death at 10 p.m. Give or take 2 minutes. Right in the middle of her exit window. As she stood to leave the room, I noticed bruising on her forearm. Finger-shaped. Old but deep. Not from that night. She followed my eyes and pulled her sleeve down instinctively. Too practiced. That's when I understood something important. This wasn't just a murder case. It was the end of a secret that had been rotting for years. And by morning, it would destroy more than one life. People like clean endings. Victims on one side. Monsters on the other. This case refused to behave. By morning, Mara's mother was in the hallway outside interrogation, knuckles white, asking what kind of man gets a child mixed up in something like this. No one had a good answer. The law has language for crimes. It struggles with damage. The lab rushed the palm print. Partial, but enough. Juvenile female. Consistent with Mara's age and hand size. Not conclusive on its own. Evidence rarely is. What changed everything was the timeline. Daniel's phone showed he unlocked the door at 9:41 p.m. His smart speaker recorded ambient noise automatically when triggered by sound. At 9:57, it picked up raised voices. At 9:58, a heavy impact. At 9:59, silence. At 10:03, footsteps. One set. Slow. Dragging. That mattered. Mara said she left at 10:11. But the elevator camera timestamp was off by 8 minutes. Maintenance logs confirmed it. The building manager hadn't corrected the system after a power outage. She didn't leave at 10:11. She left at 10:03, right after the silence. When I put that in front of her, she didn't cry. She didn't argue. She stared at the table like it was the first honest thing she'd seen in years. She said he grabbed her arm when she tried. Leave. Said he laughed when she told him she was done. Said he reminded her she'd been willing for a long time. She said the bookend was just there. That her hand closed around it before her brain caught up. That she didn't name. That she just wanted him to stop talking. He stopped forever. Self-defense is a word people misunderstand. It doesn't mean clean. It means immediate threat. And the evidence said the threat was real. His fingerprints were on her arm. Her bruises matched his grip. His history, once subpoenaed, showed 2 prior complaints quietly buried by institutions that preferred silence over scandal. The knife placement was panic. A teenager's idea of what murder scenes look like. Movies. Stories. Noise where there had been none. The prosecution argued intent. Age didn't erase action. The defense argued grooming, coercion, fear. That a child cannot consent and therefore cannot be blamed the same way an adult can. The jury took 6 hours. Mara was convicted of manslaughter, not murder. Juvenile sentencing. Counseling mandated. Record sealed when she turns 25. Daniel Frost's name was removed from the youth center wall quietly. No ceremony. No apology. His wife never testified. She sent 1 letter. 3 sentences. The last one read, "I wish someone had stopped him earlier." So do I. Cases like this don't end when the verdict comes in. They echo. In families. In classrooms. In the spaces where adults are supposed to protect, not possess. If you're watching this and thinking this story is uncomfortable, good. It should be. Because predators don't look dangerous. They look trusted. They look helpful. They look like someone you'd never question. And children don't always know when they're being trapped. By the time they do, the damage is already done. If this story made you pause, share it. Talk about it. Silence is what allowed this to grow. Subscribe to Silent Evidence Files for more cases where the truth hides behind respectability.